Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. Before I jump to our third segment, let me remind you guys, go ahead and check out Full Sail University. If you're interested in a career in game design, if you're interested in a career in esports production, Full Sail University has all the programs you need to get that education in audio engineering, video production, esports production, 3D animation, game design, all these cool different topics that once you get an education in, there's a lot of different career opportunities for you later down the road. So go ahead and check it out, www.fullsail.edu/MLG. Our third segment today is going to be on a PVZ between Oz and Sen. We're going to talk about how to take a fast third, Protoss first third. Then I'll take, or how to execute, 3-base heavy pressure in PVZ, and the proper way to use force fields versus Zerg in general, but also more specifically, Zerglings. So we're going to start the stream play off at the 6-minute mark. And from Oz's viewpoint, he went the Forge expansion, the standard of the standard in this game against Sen, right? Also importantly, the first probes got identified, 3 hatcheries from his opponent. That's very important to identify. If you don't see 3 hatcheries, it's very risky to take a fast third base, because it could be doing some 2-base roach push or something that you want to prioritize more on defense than on expansion. But if the Zerg has 3 bases, it's perfectly a fine option. Go ahead and take your own fast third. Now, key thing taking fast third, notice how Oz, we're going to actually rewind this back a few seconds. His first 2 gateway units, right? Stalker and a Zealot. He sends those out. These do 2 things. Well, they're really, the most important thing to worry about, only one thing. Statting your opponent. Saying, okay, does he have a billion Zerglings? Does he have any roaches to me? What does he have? That's what these 2 gateway units are for. To see what the Zerg has, and also to keep him distracted, because right when you're trying to set up that third base, the worst thing that can happen is like one Zergling runs in here, and it bops your probe, right? Or when you start this pylon, right? Starting the pylon, Oz, there you go. He starts the pylon. When you start the pylon, 4 Zerglings run in, and they kill your pylon. Because what the idea is that, yes, you don't have very many units. The Zerg player might have more. But by the time those units are done dealing with their gateway army, what you're going to have is you're going to have a cannon that's walled in by gateways. And now all of a sudden, these Zerglings, they can't do anything, right? Because the cannon's being protected, right? Yes, the cannon's not done yet, but it will be done pretty soon. And once it's done, those Zerg units are just basically, fish in a pot or whatever, right? Easy pickings. You can go take them out very easily. So, as he does that, he takes a fast third. The next step now. Oz likes to do 3-base pressure. He likes pressure builds. He's a very aggressive player. That's fine. You can do a lot of different variations from this fast third base. If you're going to do a pressure build, any type of timing attack, in every single matchup, but it's super, super important with Protoss. Same thing. Notice, look at this. Just right now, we'll back this up a few seconds. We'll back this up to 920. Look at the probe production in the production menu. This is what's important here. 3 probes at a time, 3 probes at a time, 3 probes at a time, right? Notice, wait, 2, 1, wait, what? Where are the probes going? No more probes. Why is there no more probes? Because he wants to save his next minerals he gathers for production. Well, his next one's to get Blink and +2, but then production. And there's a general rule. It's pretty simple. It's 2 minutes before you want to attack as a Protoss player. As a Terran, it's got to be even earlier. But as Protoss, 2 minutes before you want to attack, cut your work of production. And look at this. See how he's rebuilding probes? You just cut it temporarily to add in 1 gateway, 2 gateways, 3 gateways, so it'll be up to 8 gateways, right? He has 5 down, and wants to go up to 8. 2 minutes before you want to attack, you ramp up your production. It's a basic rule. It's very, very, very important. And that way, it takes 1 minute to build the production, 1 minute to warp in a couple rounds, 1 minute to warp in 1 round and move out. Or, sorry, 1 minute to build the production, half a minute to warp in a round and move out, another half a minute to cross the map, warp in that second round, and launch the actual attack. And 2 minutes is the same time. It roughly takes a chrono boost to get these 2 key upgrades to Blink and +2. So remember how he stopped probe production at 9:47? 11:52, he's on the move out, looking for that engagement. So it's that simple. You say, I want to attack at 12 minutes because my opponent 12 minutes starts to get some crazy stuff I don't want to deal with. 10 minutes, you start ramping up that production. Or a little bit before. 2.5 minutes is probably better, unless you're super tight with your builds. Now we're in a situation. He's doing this Blink Stalker Sentry attack against Zerglings. Now, notice one thing. Oz is a player who's insanely fast. He's a pro Korean, right? Look at what's happened. There's all these Zerglings there. They're about to touch the Stalkers and Sentries. Only a single force field. Is this a mistake? Right? This is the biggest question here. Has Oz made a mistake with his force fields? The answer is no. Right? Some players would say, wait, but force fields, you can cast them way up here. Right? They have not range 9. Why is he waiting until just now to cast the force fields? And one answer is maybe he's slow. Oz is not slow. The reason why, if you instantly cast a force field line in front of the Zerglings, what happens? They run away. You're like, wait a minute. I just used up 4, 5, 6, 7 force fields, and I didn't kill a single unit. So, there's a rule of thirds with force fields. You generally want to let a third of your opponent's army on one side of the force field closer to you, 2/3 away. That's exactly what he's doing. He's being patient, being methodical. We'll get back in the game and look exactly how he does this. See this one force field? Look at that. He waits for a few Zerglings to get in, force fields them off. Look at his thoughts. So the 33 kills now. Look at these blood splatters, right? About 10 blood splatters on the field, when in fact there was, well, there's 76 Zerglings now, but in that engagement there was about 30 or so, right? We're open to more units, right? Again, Zerglings are going to come around, are going to try to find engagement. Stalker's going to blink back. Again, they're coming in here. He casts 3 preemptively. Why does he cast the 3 preemptively? Because he's like, you know what? This is too big of an area. I'm not sure if I can cast this many force fields instantly that fast enough. So I'll put a few down preemptively. The rest I'll wait on, right? He's going to wait to let a few units get through. Then he casts them. Look at that. Now he got a bunch more Zerglings. More Zerglings dying. Waited for a few more to get around that way. Kills them. Very patient with force fields. That's the most important thing about force fields. Be patient. Be precise. You don't need to hit them instantly unless you're fighting mass banelings. Or against Stim Bio, it's a little bit different. But look at that again. Patience. He lets a third of the Zerglings through, then hits the force fields. Look at the units lost at now, right? 90, 97, 99, 100 units. It's insane, right? It's over 2-to-1 cost efficiency. And speedings are supposed to counter Stalkers, right? But it's just because the force fields are so spectacular that this combination actually beats the mass speeding combination that Sen is using against it. So from here on out, he's up 30 food. We'll just X-8 the rest of it. He's going to go ahead. Some more force fields, rule third again. It just goes in and just overruns Sen and GG. But the super important thing about that is just using the force field so well. You just got to be patient and be methodical in your use of them. Don't panic. Don't throw them everywhere. Understand what the goal of the force field is, and then you can better use it. And if you mess up, you'll understand that you messed up. You won't just spam force fields, lose the battle, and get frustrated. If you know the goal of the force field, then you can understand if you did them well or if you did them poorly, and you can better improve from that point on. So a quick recap of a couple key things about this style of Protoss. 1, scout often, right? We saw he scouted with the Zealot Stalker. Does my opponent have a lot of units on the field? What can he threaten me with? Shortly after that, he scouted with Hallucination. I missed it going to replay, but he used Hallucination. So Zealot Stalker, get the third base up. Once the third base is up, you have 6 sentries. Send that Hallucination Scout out. Is he going Muleless? Is he massing Roaches? Those are the 2 main questions you have. Then, when you're using the force fields, be very patient, calm, and methodical with them, right? You don't need to spam them instantly. Against Zerglings, you can wait till the Zerglings are even against you, and if you put them just perfectly, you can still section the Zerglings out. So, very patient with force fields. And then, when using force fields against an opponent, Terran Zerg, whatever it is, rule of thirds. 1/3 units you fight, 2/3 should not be to attack you. For Zerglings, that just means on the other side of force fields. For Roaches, Marines, Marauders, that means on the other side of force fields, and the force fields are far enough away that it cannot shoot over those force fields and hit your units. But for Zerglings, it's much simpler, just on the other side of force fields. 2/3 you don't fight, 1/3 you fight at a time. Wraps up a third segment on faster PVZ. I hope you guys try to spell it out. It's a very fun build, a very high success rate as far as developing your macro skills. You may lose a lot of funny stuff early, but you really develop your macro trying this build. We'll take a short break and be right back with the Q&A.